Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I'd just like to start this video thanking Rabbi Wall for coming out to Israel this week and learning with me. It's really been an unbelievable time, and hopefully we'll have many more weeks of learning and accomplishing a lot. Thank you so much for coming. So this week is Parshat Behar here in Israel, and the Parsha starts off with a topic that is actually very relevant to this year, Shemitah. Right? This year in Israel is the Shemitah year. Everyone leaves their fields, and there's rules in the Torah that poor people go take fruit. Right? We don't profit from our fields during the Shemitah year. It's really an amazing concept. So the parsha starts off with that, and Rashi says something unbelievable. He says not only was Shemitah just mentioned here at Har Sinai, it's all of the details and the general rules of everything in Judaism was given to Moshe, was given to the Jewish people at Har Sinai. The question is why does Rashi have to come tell us this? Shouldn't the Torah just tell us this? Right? We're learning here from Rashi that the Torah has this concept called anava, called translated as modesty or a sense of self-humility or meekness, right? And this is a very important quality for each and every one of us to have. The Torah could have said at Har Sinai everything was given to us, but instead it leaves that to Rashi. And what's fascinating is the first pasuk of this week's parsha says, "Vayomer Hashem al Moshe b'Har Sinai lemor da'aber al bnei Yisrael," rest of the parsha. And we see the word Sinai, Har Sinai, Sinai itself has the same numerical value, the same gematria as anava, as this trait of humility, of meekness, and modesty, right? It has the same numerical value. And we see that here at Har Sinai, it's pointed out specifically, explicitly, that this trait of anava is very important to have. Now, Shemitah itself embodies this trait. Why is that so? Because we go 6 years working our field so much, and the 7th year, we just leave it blank? How are we able to do that? We're going to not be able to eat. We're not going to be able to make any profit. We just leave our fields. Right? It's not logical at all. So this whole concept of anava, to lower ourselves down, to realize that there's something above us, it's the foundation of Shemitah itself. To say that there's someone above us, Hashem's above us, and He'll be able to help us throughout this process, throughout this year, and we'll come out even stronger. And that's the essence of Shemitah. And we see the first Beit HaMikdash brought down this week's parsha by Rashi. The first Beit HaMikdash was destroyed because the Jewish people didn't keep Shemitah. They didn't value that there's someone above us. And the second Beit HaMikdash was destroyed because sinat chinam, baseless hatred. And part of that was lashon hara, slander. And earlier today I made a siyum on the books Shmirat HaLashon and Sefer Chafetz Chaim, both books about Shmirat HaLashon, guarding your tongue, proper speech. And we see that the Chafetz Chaim says sometimes the best way to go about things, the best action when it comes to responding or when it comes to enacting conversation is just to be quiet and just to listen. And we see this concept of anava, of meekness and modesty, is as well embodied in that. So for us, we see that both of the first Beit HaMikdash and the second Beit HaMikdash were destroyed if you take a step back and look at on a general scale, were destroyed because the Jewish people didn't have anava. They thought that they were on the top of the scale. And we have this today. By the way, we don't value this trait of modesty, of meekness, of self-humility at all today, right? And we see that this is why the Beit HaMikdash is destroyed. That's why this thing is sitting over where it's supposed to be right now, right? We see that when we think we're on top and there's no one above us, that's only cause for destruction and disaster. When we realize that there's someone above us really running everything, then that's how we succeed as a people. Now, there's a concept in Judaism that when you put yourselves down, right, when we put ourselves down and humble ourselves, Hashem will raise us up naturally. So we should all have trust in Hashem to do that, and that's embodied exactly in this week's parsha. Now, I said earlier that the numerical value of Sinai and Anava are the same. Not exactly true. Anava is +1. Now, Why is that? Why is it +1? Everyone knows 1 is for Hashem. But really, what I took out of it is to really appreciate everything, to appreciate Shemitah, to appreciate being quiet, to appreciate, to listen, to appreciate what you're listening to, and to really take it in. It takes you. It takes that extra 1, or else you have nothing, right? You just have Har Sinai. You just have a mountain. But when you have that trait of Anava also in it, you have yourself. You have yourself going into that concept exactly, right? You're bringing yourself into that concept of real appreciation. And again, today this is something we don't value at all. So with that, and this week's Parshat Behar, I wish everyone a bracha that we're really able to assess the situation, because sometimes the best way to go about things is to be quiet and to really understand that as much as we may think a Nobel Prize winner, the smartest man on earth, that we're on top, we're really not. And the reality is, once we have that realization, our lives will only be that much more successful and meaningful and really purposeful. And with that, I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.